Okay, today we're going to do a spreadsheet tutorial, and starting with 2007 data, which would be for the XAG or another way of stating the silver price. Calculate how many hours it takes for silver to reach 5% volatility. Volatility is defined as the price difference dividing the lowest level. So therefore, create a data text document with the following headers: date, time, open, high, low, close, and the number of hours. Calculate the average hour it takes for this to take place, the average as well as the median. The data that I'm going to be using is from my Dropbox folder, which currently only has one file right now, and that's the data I'll be using, which is silver hourly from 2007 to 2012. This is a 1.5 megabyte file. It's a pretty big one. So we're going to go through a lot of data, and the data comes from livecharts.co.uk/historical data. So what we're going to do is copy and paste everything within here. I'm just going to first eliminate that. Edit, select all. We'll copy and we'll paste this into the document. Now what I'm going to be doing is almost like I'm writing a college test, college exam, and then just go on with the process but explain on a step-by-step basis what it is exactly that I am doing. So we need to know what the high and low is, so we'll make a column for each. Say column K, it doesn't matter, will be the high, and column low will be the low. The percentage move is taking the highest level from the lowest level, that's the difference, and then dividing it again by the low. So that's not even a percent or even close to it, but we'll put this in percentage terms in here. So there's going to be over 30,000 different rows, close to 34,000. So it's going to be a lot of formulas to make sure I can get this done fairly fast, which I plan on doing so. I'm going to be using a lot of the if statements. So I'm going to put in an if statement here, as if this high that we currently had, is it greater than the high that we have right now? Because if it is, we put a new high in. If not, if it's lower, then just give me the one we had before. Same thing with the low, and if you look at it's going to take a while for it to even change, but if this number is less than this previous number, then I want the new low. However, if it's not less than it, I want what we had before. And this is just going to stay the same. We're just going to copy and paste this lower. So 1290 changes here, and 1287 changes all the way down on cell 17. So let's just copy and paste and see if it's working fine. Okay, so far it is. So we might as well just keep on copying and pasting this until it hits 5%, and then we can go on to the next step. So we're now at 1%, still not 5%, we need at least 5. We're at 2.57. 2.8 now, so we're finding out how many hours it takes on average to reach 5% moves, and there we have it right in here, a 5% movement here. So we're going to need to know, as far as this is concerned, we need to know we need to have date, time, open, high, low, close, and number of hours. So therefore, let's start off and make the column start off with pay. We're going to ask another if question. If this percentile is greater than or equal to 5%, which is 0.05, then we're going to start with our header, and the first thing we need is the date. And, well, if it's not, I'll put a semicolon, I'll put 2 quotation marks to say put nothing in. Now the next one is the time frame. So again, if this percentile is greater than or equal to 0.05, then give me the time. If not, give me nothing. Then we need the open, which we haven't got it anywhere. So we'll have to put in the open. We'll put the open in column N. So we'll put in 1287 is the open. And for now, I'm just going to write in 1287 the rest of the way lower. and then let the computer figure out all the future opens. So if this percentage is greater than or equal to 0.05, then we want the open. If not, give us nothing. And then after that is the high, equals if again. This percentage is greater than or equal to 0.05. Give me the high, which is 1320, or give me nothing. Now for the low, equals if, again, if this percentage is greater than or equal to 0.05 that is, then give me the low. If not, give me nothing. The close, again, if this is equal to or greater than 0.05, then give me the close, and the close is this number here. If not, give me nothing. And now we need to know how many times it's been since this has been going on. So I'm going to insert another couple columns here just because I want all the side data to be in here. So we'll start off this by 1, and then we'll just do equals this plus 1 and just copy and paste this all the way down. And the future ones will use formulas to determine, to recount things. So 65 hours it took originally. So if this percentage is greater than or equal to 0.05, then I want this one here, which is going to be 65. If not, give me nothing. Now personally for myself, I have a hard time sorting by date. The computer doesn't like doing it so well right now. So I need to find another easy way that I'm going to be able to sort these later on. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to put in the number 1 and just copy and paste this all the way up. Equals if the percentage is greater than 5, equals if this number here is greater than or equal to 0.05, then give me this number. If not, give me nothing. Okay, so now we can we need to reset this so that it goes down to 0. So first off, I'm just going to quickly copy and paste this lower like this. And I'm going to ask it another if question before the if. So the if will be if this is greater than or equal to 0.05, that means we need to reset it, which means we're going to need the new high, and in this case it would be 1266. Okay, let me just redo that. So I should do this. Okay, equals if this percentage is greater than or equal to 0.05, then I'm going to want the new high, and else I want that. So now it's reset it to 1266. Same thing here. If the previous level did manage to get up to 0.05, I want the new low, which is going to happen to be the same anyway. And we can just copy and paste this down below. Okay, let's try it again. Copy, and then this should be a lower percentage. It is at 1.52. So the open's going to be different now too. So equals if the previous percentage is greater than or equal to 0.05, then we're going to want the new open, which happens to be 1258. If it's not, we're going to want the one that we previously stated. We'll do it that way. The counter is going to have to reset. So if this level did manage to get up to 5%, then we're going to reset it at 1. If not, we're going to take the previous number and add it by 1. Excellent. So in here, for my personal counter now, I'm going to state, okay, is this, we'll do the same thing. If this number here is greater than or equal to 0.5 again, then we want to take this number and add 1. Else, we want to just keep it the way it was. I know that's not going to work. Or whatever. Anyway, let me try it again. Equals if the percentage of the previous period is greater than or equal to 0.05, then make this counter add 1. Or else we'll just keep it at the previous counter level, so it did add it by 1. Excellent. So let's see how well this is now going to work. Let's just copy and paste all of this down below because it should be nothing. And it is. And now we can just copy and paste this, and we'll paste it down a few cells because we should be done. And let's do it to start 400. We got a long ways to go, but just to make sure that the data is working. So now we can see here that we got the percentages, and at 5% it resets at 46. It also adds in another data point. The counter said 2, and the counter reset itself. So the previous close was 12:58, the new open is 12:58, the next close was 12:24, which means the next open when it happens should be 12:24, and this was 121 periods. So we got her all ready to go. Excellent. So now we can just copy and paste this all the way to the very bottom, and on here I can just type in the numbers on this section in here. Let me just find out exactly how many rows we have to go down to. 33,000, in this case 33,949. I'm using Open Office Spreadsheet, by the way, so some of these calculations may work a little bit different in other spreadsheets like Excel or whatever other Office suites you may be using. Now, to calculate this many data points takes about 4 or 5 seconds. If I were to do this the way I used to 15 years ago using a QBasic spreadsheet or QBasic programming tool, to do this part it would have taken a good 5-10 minutes. So things are faster in technology. So now let's move on to the bottom and see how everything's looking. Okay, so earlier today, as I'm doing this, there was the 718th occurrence of a 5% move, and it took 65 hours to take in its place. And now let's put this all together. So I'm going to copy and paste everything from here all the way up to the first one, which is row 67. So I can just take out this, and I can copy everything within this, and I can do some sorting later on. What we'll do is we will take a notepad and paste all this information in here, and then what we're going to do is paste it back into a spreadsheet. So edit, select all, cut it off, and now go into sheet 2 and paste it along the way. And now all I've got to do is sort this. So I know it's over 30,000, so I'm just going to type in 40,000 here, and we're going to sort this. And I want to sort this by column H, which is the reason why I use the counter. And there we go. So what we have is we have the date here, 2007, the time, the open, the high, the low, the close, and the amount of periods. We don't really need column H because they never asked for that, but that was just for me to sort this fine. And now we can start to see as we move into 2008, it didn't take many hours at all, anywhere between a quarter, a sixth, a half, a full day. In fact, from September let's see, knowing there's 24 hours in a day, although from September the 5th, 2008 to September the 23rd, it had several 5% moves. And even in here, as we move into October during that major spell, a lot of quick volatility. And then as we can see, roughly at around the start of December of 08, things slowed down. Now in here, every move is taking dozens of hours, 150 hours, 150 again, 40, 180, 120. Things slowed down in 2010. A little bit of a pickup here in the breakout. And here you have a situation like this, May the 6th, 2 hours. So alright, so now let's find out the average and the median as well. So first we'll just make that text document. So we'll copy and paste this. And there we go. So now let's type in average hours and median hours. And this is a very simple calculation to figure out, because all you have to do is put equals average and average everything in column G. The average is 47 1/4, so 47.276. And on median, and what median means, that is out of the, which is the median number of the bunch. So out of 101 situations, which is number 51? Out of 3 situations, what's number 2? Out of 11, what's number 6? So in this case, out of 718, what is around 359? And the median is 30. So big difference between the average and the median hours, as there are quite a few days or periods where it's like 8, 10, whatever hours. Now just for something else to do, let's take a look at how this chart looks as well. Because the way this is going to look is those tiny small charts you get, they're no longer going to be there anymore. Because every single one of these periods has to have 5%. Now there's going to be some that are greater, because on the period where it reached 5% movements, it might have exceeded it pretty high. And the one day I'd be thinking offhand would be the period of the first day of May on the Sunday. I'm going to just make this look like green candles for the up move, and that's going to make stock gains to be green, which means stock loss moves to be red. There we go, and let's move this back to number 1. We'll have to move it into a logarithmic format as well. And this is going to be the normal chart you've been seeing for so long with silver over the last few years. Let's put in a low here of, we'll say, well, the low is 8.5, so we'll put a low of 8. It got up to 50, so no number above it. And I usually put small numbers in here, so 0.02 will work. Okay, just even some more. Let's put in 2 decimals instead of all the ones. Put it at the outside end. I don't like these lines, so we'll get rid of that. Get rid of the other lines as well. And there's another way of looking at the chart. Each one of those periods, however, represents a 5% movement in the price, which would show A, that the bottom movement of 2008, there's more periods in here than there normally was. Also the consolidation of 2010, because it was hundreds and hundreds of hours to get 5%, there's not as many candles compared to 4, 5, 6 hours back in 08 for that to be the case. And I'm going to finish this off by saving this. And that's final results for 5% hourly moves. And that's now saved. So thank you for tuning in. And have yourself a magnificent day. Bye-bye.